Yeah, we're live right now. What are you doing? What, you showing me your bum?
Never.
Wearing some camo. Dude, you're wearing some camo. Everybody, welcome. Come on in. That is Pete Dominick, stand-up comedian extraordinaire. Saw him on CNN this weekend. He raised some eyebrows. He's had some very specific opinions. Pete, it is so nice to see you. You and I have done a few of these that kind of lived in the digital hinterland of wherever the fuck, but really nice to see you this morning. And way to steal poor Boris's soul on CNN this last weekend. That was something.
Dean, that's great to see you. I'm always happy to be on with you. I adore you.
I adore
And
you.
I have a lot to say about all of this, but I do want to mention to your Canadian viewers, I did like 10 appearances that day because I've been in and around comedy for my whole career and in and around political media. So I know all the producers know me and so on. It's like there's far better comedians who are a lot more active than I am. I'm like, I'm partially retired because I'm doing my podcast every day and I love it. Stand Up with Pete.com. Please go subscribe. But the fact is, they contact me. I'm good at doing these hits, but I also, I was in Australia. I did CNN a couple times, but I did both the CBC, is that right, and CTV.
Yes.
And
yeah.
The one I did, I believe it's the CBC. The interviewer there, Andrew, his name is forgetting me, and I'll share the link to the interview. Was really thoughtful, and he was very kind, and it was a very he got me to be very vulnerable about how scary it is to speak out here. So everybody's focusing on that CNN interview, which I'm happy to talk about it, and but there was some other great Canadian media that I want to plug.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you doing that. CBC is the taxpayer-funded media outlet up here. It's kind of like NPR. Taxpayers pay for it. So you can pretty much guarantee you're going to get some kind of center-left, center-right, but very accountable shit. And CTV is like Pravda for Canadians. So, you're one for two. But at the very same time, I saw both of them, and you were great. I mean, you had a lot to say, and as soon as all the Colbert stuff happened, you and I got on. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And then the Kimmel thing happened, and I saw you kind of explode everywhere. Of course, we know why. He told the truth about Charlie Kirk, and he told a joke, and Trump didn't like that joke. Trump doesn't like any jokes that are about him, saying 97% of the late night content is about hitting Trump. Hitting Trump, shouldn't be allowed to do it. Can't do it. Can't hit Trump like that. And we're really seeing the death of the First Amendment, the death of free speech, the death of punditry, the death of comedy, specifically late night comedy. And we'll get into the ratings and all the bullshit. And we'll also get into the WWE style Charlie Kirk funeral yesterday. We'll have some balanced conversations, a little bit about that. But you nailed it in your interview with Boris on CNN. I know you touched on it on CBC as well. This is nothing to do with any of the stated reasons that the Trump regime is giving anybody for why he sent Brendan Carr, why he sent, other emissaries to threaten the shit out of ABC and Disney unless he got what he wanted, which was to put Jimmy Kimmel on ice. But Pete, you brought this up on CNN. They've been fucking telegraphing this through Project 2025, and it is not just about comedians, good sir.
No, it's by design. They wrote about it. They talked about it. Brendan Carr basically confirmed it with someone who said this to him. He went on social media and he sent an emoji of Jack Nicholson like winking, like, that's right. Of course, this is what we were always going to do if we won, and we would take over the FCC, which was always supposed to be and tried to be a neutral organization, a bipartisan commission that was not influenced by politics. And they took over the FCC, and they're trying to create state media. And Americans don't really understand this, but a lot of people in other countries understand it, especially those that have gotten out or grew up before state media took over in Russia or in Iran or in North Korea or in so many other countries in the world where that's what it is. And Julia Yaffe, who's a Russian expert, a really great reporter, talked about how when Putin first took over, one of the first things he did was to silence a comedian who was constantly knocking him and making fun of him. That was a wrap. That was the beginning. So there's a history of this in other countries, and we don't have to necessarily look at the stated reasons that they gave in Project 2025 that Brendan Carr is now confirming to know that's what they're doing. But this is America's version of what Russia did. And, Putin, our guy loves the Russian guy, loves him, wants to model himself as much as possible after him, rolled the red carpet out for him, thinks he's great, he's strong. And so that's exactly what they're doing. It has nothing to do with Kimmel, other than Kimmel's critical of him. If you are critical of the king, you will be silenced. If you're not supportive enough, and you're seeing a lot of American comedians doing this faux support character, don't put off the dear leader, then you will be taken off. And they can do that with a lot of the corporate media because of these consolidations, which we can get into. But I
Yeah.
know you know a lot about monopolies and consolidations, but they're antithetical to democracy, Dean.
Yes, sir. Yeah, power, much of it in the hands of very few people, and that is what we're seeing, which is the kettling of the mainstream media in the United States of America. And I would argue that mainstream media has really never been about serving the interests of the people. I would argue that, for years they put us into these funnels. Before the internet, it was radio, television, print. Radio stars were big radio stars, not so much anymore. Newspapers, who gives a fuck? I mean, when was the last time you picked up a newspaper? Television, ratings for everything in the fucking toilet. And things like Substack are growing exponentially. You've got these little outlets where people have the ability to actually, contribute. But, I go back to the Project 2025 thing that you're talking about, and the facilitation of what makes this so scary is that a guy like Putin also has the ability to control the internet. A guy like Putin, a guy like Xi also has the ability to control the inflow and outflow of content, what you're hearing, what you're seeing. The broligarchy, as it is stacked now with Trump regime sycophants, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, who was at the funeral yesterday paying allegiance to the king, by the way, Jeff Bezos, the entire ecosystem. Now, of course, with TikTok, that's what makes what's going on much scarier. You used to be able to say, okay, mainstream media, that guy got shafted. He's off. He's just going to go on Substack, or he's going to start a YouTube, or he's going to go to Spotify. No, that we live in a very fucking different time where it is a full court press when it comes to Project 2025, and they own all the tubes, the means of production, and the means of distribution. So, would love your thoughts on that, because what we saw with Kimmel and what we see with Colbert, and now what we're seeing with threats to other media ecosystems, they got it all, dude. Like, they got it all.
I mean, my immediate thought is that I need to learn trade, a new form of income, because the way that you just articulated it, as well as good as anybody else in terms of being able to control the tubes, is a thing. We saw this, I believe, in the book 1984.
Orwell. It's a classic, Peter. It's a classic. Yeah. Yeah, Georgie. No, it's a classic. It basically is the playbook we're watching now. Classic, classic, classic.
By the way, go down a Orwell YouTube hole and watch his final interview in his deathbed, just for watching George Orwell's final interview in his deathbed. But the idea that, Siri and Alexa are in charge now of everything that you see and you hear, and you wake up in the morning, it's like, hello, Dean, you should learn HVAC. Have you shoed a horse ever? That should be a job. Bad robots cannot replace you, Dean.
Good morning, Dean. Go get a stop slow sign and a fluorescent vest. You're now going to be working on a road crew, Dean. Yeah,
cars.
But dude, like that's got to be frightening. I mean, we live in Canada. To make a long story short, I'm supposed to actually go there for a function, and I really don't want to go, but it's a thing. Still might have to go. And like, for the first time in my life, as someone who slings hash, as someone who calls balls and strikes, as someone who knows that the Trump regime is a fascist organization, who talks about the corrupt, officials like Tom Homan taking a $50,000 bribe, I've seen search and seizures, like 17,000 of them documented this year. 17,000 searches and seizures of Canadians' phones, their personal phones, where you got ICE and CBP guys holding the phone up to your face if you get biometrics, and they just won't let you in the country, or they'll detain you for a while, or they'll send you to an ICE facility. There's like 120 fucking people. So the chilling effect of what I saw with Kimmel as a Canadian, frightens me. The chilling effect on a guy like you, and I know I wanted your thoughts on this. It's got to make you shit yourself a little bit,
Well,
right?
I mean, the chilling effect is I am an American. I am an American person who makes his living off of exercising my First Amendment. I run my mouth. I interview people, experts. I still believe in that. So yeah, I'm terrified. I'm terrified mostly for my family. My ex-wife is none too happy about this. She sent me a text this morning. She's like, "Hey, I just saw your CNN hit finally, and me no likey. Tone it down, brah. You're not the only one that is." And she's not wrong. She married a comedian, not an activist and a journalist, but that's what I have become. And I do try to be careful. I mean, in your case, though, you're Canadian, maybe coming in America, and you look like that. You look like an aging Russian boxer. You look like a Bond villain. So I think they're going to be like, yeah, let him go. He'll be fine. He's just here for his.
He might be one of us. He might be one of us. We might be able to use him.
Yeah.
But what are other guys saying? I mean, you talked to all these comedians. You know Colbert. You opened up for him for years. Don't know if you've talked to Kimmel or anybody in his orbit. Um, Thoughts? I mean, is it a pretty? It's
Yeah.
shared?
Stephen emailed me back after he saw one of my appearances, and he basically, I won't, comment exactly what he said, but in short, he's like, "These are some crazy times, man," and the rest was personal. But then I did hear from two writers on Kimmel separately yesterday that were like, "Hey, man, thank you for speaking out, for doing what you're doing, which gives me purpose and reward." But it's like, what is the purpose and reward? Are they going to, threaten me? I mean, I've been threatened, as you know. I think I talked to you about this the first time we talked, but it was by people locally over my local advocacy in my school board. It had nothing to do with my career or my media, and everything to do with my, being a human that lives in this town and watching is what is happening and happen to be good on the mic. And so I spoke out
Yeah.
because, silence is betrayal is what I thought. But that doesn't stop them from trying to silence you. So it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's got to be. It's the end of free speech. You talk about learning through that lens of history. Going back to what happened with Putin, there was a comedian, to your point, back in 2001 that did some sketch comedy with some puppets. One of them was Putin as a baby, looking all decrepit, saying, "Kill them all, throw them in the crapper." That person summarily found themselves at the bottom of a building after falling out of one of those deadly Russian windows that people seem to keep falling out of. You go back to Joseph Goebbels. What did he do? Exact same thing, 1933. He used the death of a Nazi party member to deliver the exact same speech that we heard yesterday from Stephen Miller. And I shit you not. They put that through a plagiarization performance, and it was almost word for word from "I Am the Storm." And so they're not even hiding it anymore, and I think that that's really the scary part, right? They hit it prior to Trump getting elected again. I don't even know what Project 2025 is. No idea what you guys are fucking talking about. We're not a bunch of crazy Christian nationalist Nazis. We're going to make this country the freest freedom of speech. This is now the freest speech country in the world. I say free speech. Not so much, Pete. Not so much.
No, and you going through that litany of history's monsters didn't make me feel any better. I don't know why. I thought you might, but you're right. It's exactly what is happening, and it's just if we don't if if we don't do anything, then it happens faster. Maybe it's inevitable, but I just can't bear the idea of losing the freedoms that I had growing up. That my daughters, it's already going to be harder for so many reasons. And I just can't stand by and not do anything, given everything I've been involved with in my life and my career and my effectiveness at this part of the work, I guess. And there's a lot of other people that feel similarly. It's so hard to know what to do and what's most effective. The uncertainty is something that I think people need to really understand is why you're feeling the way you feel. You don't know what's going to happen. And we don't know what's going to happen in life, as we know. You've read Marcus. In all of this stems back to that. And when you don't know when it comes to what's going to happen to your democracy, that is something that this generation of Americans did not have to deal with. We took it for granted.
Mm.
And so we're learning fast and hard, which is how I like it, as you know, Dean.
Pete, thank you for that. You are. We all are. I mean, I wrote a piece the other day. It was, it's almost sacrilegious to think of what Trump has done to the relationship that Canadians have with Americans. Almost 70% of Canadians say, quote, "We will never trust America again." 70%. I mean, you talk about the damage he's done to the rights and freedoms of individuals, the poisoning of the well relationships with your closest allies and people who truly love each other. I mean, you're hard pressed to find a Canadian who runs into an American prior to Trump that didn't high five, going, "Yeah, we're neighbors. Great to meet you. Oh, I love Canada. Oh, I love Tennessee. Oh, I've been to Toronto. Oh, I've been to Memphis." None of that exists anymore. None of that exists, and I think really one of the most incredible parts that we're seeing of the death of democracy and the death of free speech, and really, you encapsulated it fucking perfectly, Pete, as you always do, because you're a professional communicator, Peter. You said something earlier that made a lot of sense to me, and I think it's the loss of freedoms. Ty Cobb was interviewed the other day. I would love your thoughts on it. This is the fucking president's former personal attorney.
Oh, not the Hall of Fame baseball player?
No, he's dead. Yeah, no, Ty Cobb. I know, different Ty Cobb. It's a terrible job naming that kid. He's a big fan of the worst person in the history of baseball who killed a guy.
But I
Let's
should
name
be.
him Ty.
To be fair, my dad was so inspired. My brother's name is Honus Wagner.
Oh, you're
Right. But anyway,
My
yeah. What
sister's
did he
name is
say? What
Satchel
did?
Paige. Anyway, no, going back. We're big baseball people too. Is the loss of freedoms. And Ty Cobb the other day, and it was shocking to me because this is the president's former lawyer, and he had this look of consternation on his face in an interview, and he goes, "It will be generations, generations before we get the rights and freedoms we had prior to the last 7 months back." Generations. You know what a generation is? It's 25 fucking years, Pete. 25 years.
I mean, I wouldn't put a lot of stock into what Ty Cobb is saying there. A lot of other people are saying the same thing. And the reason I wouldn't is because he's a smart guy who is a student of history and is impacted obviously a lot in his thinking by the law, which is what he understands the best. I think those of us that understand technology a little bit better, those of us who understand a little bit more about the moment that we're in and don't live in an ivory tower with a curly Q mustache, would argue back to what I tried to say and what I say on every show I go on. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. And the uncertainty creates anxiety, but it also creates opportunity.
Mhm.
Because we don't know, to stand idly by and to do nothing is to be part of the problem. It's cowardice. And a lot of people say, fine, I'm a coward. But to those people, I would say, you don't have to go outside and hold a sign or go on Dean's show or my show or CNN or anywhere else. You don't have to even quietly raise money. You don't have to get even necessarily involved in the political process. One thing that I say to every American, all my friends, all my family right now is we're in the barrel.
Mhm.
We're in it. It's not coming. It's here. This is the age of American fascism. It's the age of Trump. It's the age of MAGA. All of our freedoms are under threat. And what we can do, what all of us can do right now, right today, is build community. It's the most important thing I've learned, Dean. It's the most important thing I have learned from all of the history here through other Holocausts and genocide and harsh regimes where people's freedoms were taken. Even if you were in a camp, you're building a community in your place.
Mm.
You're reminding people of humanity. You're not becoming the monster that you fear is going to kill you. You are reminding yourself and everybody who is watching you of your humanity. It's so important that we remind each other that we're not alone. We are different and differ on a wide range of issues and subjects around the range of all kinds of serious things. And we don't need a litmus test. We need to remind each other of our humanity. And there's been so much written about this that is so eloquent that I can't quote from. on your show right now, but people know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is who we are supposed to be right now, is trying to connect each other, which is why I invite everybody to come over and join me and pay me at standupwithpete.com. Join my cult. You have to sleep with me, but there's no sexual intimacy
Oh,
involved.
well, it
It's
was just
all,
sleeping. Yeah, good.
it's just
Sleeping. Just
scratching
sleeping.
my back.
Pete Buttigieg. Maybe it's the Petes that are going to keep us together. The Petes and the women of this world. Pete Buttigieg the other day really echoed what you just said. And I love Pete. I think he's absolutely fucking brilliant. You're not just a member of Mensa. He's also a Rhodes Scholar. He's a smart dude. And he said, Donald Trump is nowhere near as powerful as he wants you to think he is. And us, are much more powerful than we realize we are.
Yeah.
To your point of community, which really speaks to what you're saying. And I would highly encourage Pete Dominick is one of the smartest, most values driven individuals currently delivering content, trying to inform and affirm people. Stand up with Pete Dominick. Please go there. He's got a website. This is on Substack. Obviously, I know you're not a big Substacker as of yet. I'm going to pull you in that direction, though, big fella. I really am. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and just to be clear about my show has always been, I have an associate's degree in humanities. I pursued I had an amazing career as a comedian. I now consider myself kind of a journalist doing what I'm doing, but I interview experts on my show. That's what I do. So I'm a dum-dum. I don't even remember what the expert I talked to yesterday said exactly. So, I mean, but that's what I platform. I platform people who are the best in their lane, in their game, and that's where my credibility for my show has come from. It's not because Pete's smart. That's why I cringed when you said it, because it's kind of that like, listen to Pete. I am your guest, and I'm happy to be your guest. But I always say, listen to the guests that I'm finding, like David K. Johnston and Aaron Carroll, Dr. Aaron Carroll. And today I'll be talking to constitutional law scholar Eric Siegel at noon live. So like people like those guys, that's what I said when I went on Joe Rogan's show in November 2019. I go, have Dr. Peter Hotez on to talk about vaccines. I didn't say that on the show. I talked about some of these other experts because it was before the pandemic, but he had him on. I texted him and said, have him back on. Stop this nonsense. But platforming experts is what I do. And I also just do a pretty good, entertaining news recap every day. But I thank you for the plugs, and that's what I do. And I'm terrified that, I won't be able to keep going on. I'm still one of the few people who still get invited, because I've straddled that for long enough, onto cable television in America. I somehow haven't gotten my name taken out
You
of
haven't been
those lists.
blacklisted yet? No?
No, the book
It's got to be coming.
Yeah, I mean, it comes and goes. You're in and out, but I've been pretty in at CNN and MSNBC, particularly for probably over a decade. It comes and it goes, but those appearances help you find people find out about your work. And again, my work is interviewing experts, and so that's what I'm trying to do, and trying to remind people that they're on Earth One, where the moon is not made of cheese.
To stand up with Pete.com is where you can go and subscribe. Highly recommend you do. And you do a great job of that. You do a great job of bringing people in, because you, like me, understand that self-awareness is really important in this game, and you might not have all the answers, specifically if you're not a constitutional law expert. So everybody go and subscribe. Subscribe here if you can as well. Pete is one of the beauties. I want to move on to what I watched yesterday. Watching it, I mean, I saw a couple of clips and tried to take in what I could from the Charlie Kirk funeral. Did you happen to see any of this? The Goebbels speech by Miller? Did you see Trump dancing on stage? Did you see Tucker Carlson called Jewish people a bunch of hummus eaters? Did you did you did you did you see the quiet reverence for really hateful, racist, alt-right podcaster that they're trying to turn into a saint? Did you take any of that in yesterday, or?
Man, I moved out here, by the way. I left my studio because we're on Wi-Fi, and I don't know. People are commenting that we're frozen, but hopefully this works better. If it doesn't, then we're all going to die. But
This is good. No, we're not. This is good. You look much more relaxed and cash, too, so I love the look, dude. You look
plus,
great.
if I want to, I can bring in my girlfriend.
Oh, hi. Hi. Is that an exercise ball?
Maybe. Or maybe it's Betty. I listened to the New York Times coverage. They did a pretty good episode today of yesterday's presidential-like funeral, for Charlie Kirk, and, the way they put it, that the first part of it was kind of non-controversial. It's just very overtly their brand of Christianity, if you know what I mean. But
Mhm.
still, Kirk's wife came on and forgave the killer, which I think is really, really important, and she should be given credit for that. And we're reminded of the 9 families in our Charleston church shooting who were all killed by a white supremacist whose name I won't say, but in South Carolina in, I think, 2014, and they all forgave the white supremacist who killed those black families. So I think that, I'm not comparing, I'm not making a comparison in any way, but it's Christians giving forgiveness is the comparison I'm making. So that was important. So all these people get up and they're talking about the Lord and all their either the Christian rock bands, which I guess are pretty popular.
Yeah.
And then the politics starts with the commentators and then it becomes government because JD Vance and Donald Trump speak. And so that's when it turns from, just crazy Christianity revering a guy who a lot of people in our country think was not someone you should memorialize in such a way, to be very kind. But then it became overt threats from people like Stephen Miller, and then it's really scary. And so we're still in this moment, I think, as a result of what we heard yesterday, which is a terrifying moment.
Yeah, a really, really, really sanitized review of what I watched yesterday, Pete. Thanks for that. It was some people are chiming in. I'll use their words, nauseating. They had a full pyrotechnic show. They had a full data capture team. They had getting people to register to become members of the GOP and MAGA and getting on that mailing list for donations. You could get a
Well, that's
you get
smart.
you got a big, very 100,000 people captive audience. You give them a QR code. Everybody got one in line. Everybody lined up. Everybody went in. And to your point, started off as a memorial. And when Erica Kirk came out to the pyrotechnic show, Donald Trump was doing his dance to Hallelujah, by the way. He was doing his wanker dance. That's when things started to go off the rails. Then it turned into a political rally. Not just a political rally, but where commentators, they brought in greasy Steve Bannon, the warthog, brought him in to talk about how everybody else's time in the barrel is coming. Stephen Miller gets up there, literally plagiarizes a Goebbels speech from 1932, and I shit you not, how we are the storm, we're coming for you. It
Yeah.
turned into a they fest, a you fest. You're not going to get away with this. And you talk about threats, nuclear threats. Erica Kirk, say what you want about, her role just as a widow, but Erica Kirk forgave the man that shot him, and after that, it was all, "We're going to fucking go to war with you."
Yeah.
Never were real specific about the "yous," but to your point, that was the entire point and purpose of what we saw yesterday, which was a 10-hour fucking, funeral that makes the movie Idiocracy look like a prophetic piece of fucking documentation.
Yeah. What I say to you and everybody else is your fault for watching that. I was trying to enjoy my Sunday. I mean,
I said
I,
clips,
like,
dude. I didn't want I
it's
didn't
like, some of us were watching football, not
Yeah, yeah.
but no, everything you're saying is super important, and that day was important. And I'm not someone who says look away from the news, although I think we all need breaks. And I was on one, which is why I didn't watch it. But also, I think I would have been terrified watching it. And you just quoting Steve Bannon, I don't know if you know this, but I used to work with him. We shared a studio at Sirius XM. He was 6 to 9 a.m. on the radio, and I was 9 to noon. You know how that goes.
Mm.
And so you know how that goes in the relationship with the guy who had the studio before you, and hopefully good. We always had a fine and decent relationship, but then one day I showed up and he was gone. He wasn't hosting his show. The Breitbart News show was on the right wing channel in Sirius. And I go, "Where's Steve Bannon?" And someone said he turned into a bat and flew out the window. And now he's running the Trump campaign. But that dude is super effective, and those threats are real and they're
Yeah.
scary. And all of it's real and it's scary. And We just don't know what's going to happen next, Dean. This may be the last time I talk to you. I really, just for comedic purposes, I wish I had anybody that cared enough to be in my place with me to black bag me out of here right now. But it's it's happening. Like, it's terrifying. And
Well,
what I mean by
yeah.
terrifying is living alone after divorce. It's terrifying. There's no dishwasher here. There's no dishwasher.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you need to get one. That's a multi-gender job, by the way. Just wanted to point that out, just so we're on the right side of history. I like that. Well, listen, Pete, I really appreciate you taking a minute today. I know you're a little concerned down in the United States of America. My thoughts are with you and everybody in on the comedy roster, everybody that has plied that trade, anybody who has an opinion and a platform that doesn't jive with what Donald Trump wants, because it's not just chilling, as you pointed out. I mean, it's here. This isn't about a chilling effect anymore. It is on. He is coming, and they are coming. And what I saw yesterday at that funeral, where they were supposed to be eulogizing a alt-right podcaster, was effectively just a massive fucking "we're coming for you" rally, where Donald Trump and the Trump regime got a chance to put an absolute fucking scare into the heart of free speech of America yesterday, yet again. I'll be live with Lev Parnas at 12 today. He's going to talk about some of the other headlines he expects to come out this week. So, to your point, it's going to get worse before it gets any better. I hope that's encouraging.
Oh yeah, the whole thing. This whole conversation has been super encouraging, Dean. The only thing that's encouraging is knowing that you're in Canada and there's so many beautiful people up there too. So when Gilead does arrive, we'll have an underground railroad to travel. And I mean, to some extent, there's Americans are moving out of the country. A lot of that people have means, I should say. And so yeah, I would. The only thing I go back to my message where I bring everywhere I go: build community locally, build community virtually, support the people who are doing good work. So I guess what I'm really trying to say, Dean, is like and subscribe, baby. Please like and
Mm.
subscribe.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's super important. Hey, listen, I mean, it's not a pitch. It's important to all of us. I mean, we put our time in here because we're going through this with you, and it makes more sense for us. Maybe this is therapeutic for us, but
And a
subscribing,
pitch for and
uh,
a pitch for you and I. I mean, there's so many people that are starting out and doing similar things, but you and I are old sea captains. Look at us. And we've been around, we've seen it all. I mean, nobody knows more about cancel culture in Canada than you. We've seen it all, and me to some extent too, and so like the credibility that some of us have, that's where our value is. So, find the people that you feel has earned that credibility and haven't done horrific things to people, and support them. And thank
mm,
you for having me here. And I always appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
buddy, I love you. You look great. Hang in there. Let me know if you need a place to stay. I'm up here.
Thank you, buddy. Say
Okay,
bye to
make waves, baby. Make
everybody.
waves. MLK, great shirt. Talk to you soon. Pete Dominick, standupwithpete.com is where you can find him. That's my man, Pete. He is petrified, as he should be. Um, Wanted to get a comedian's take on what happened. And I've podcasted with Pete several times. He's one of the truly good human beings. And what he said is so, so vitally important, friends. What he said was community, the importance of it. Catherine, this resistance doesn't run. No, 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 no. It doesn't run. No King's Day. Coots, thanks, bud. October 18th, no King's Day. Make sure you're on it. Supporting people that are doing this job doesn't just make it possible for us to do this job, whether you subscribe or not, whether you share or not. But being part of this community with people like Pete and being able to find people in North America. I'm in Canada, Pete's somewhere in the Catskills hiding. Ugh. We've got Lev Parnas on down in Florida a little later on today. We are on with my man Waj from the Left Hook last week. We are finding each other and supporting people that find each other and that get together to combine our audiences so we can inform each other is so important. Been incredibly grateful about that when it comes to Substack over the past couple of years. And so what we've done is few months. I've only been here for about 5-6 months. Yeah, I wasted some time on Twitter, like way too much time on Twitter. Don't go to Twitter. Twitter's bad. Twitter's terrible for you. Twitter's awful for your health. Awful. Um, but being here and building this community, building this resistance with all of you, and having you here being part of this resistance. Sometimes, just getting up and turning on your Substack in a time when, and to watch this stuff in a time when you're just inundated with negativity. Like, that's what I watched when I watched some of those clips the other day and it dawned on me, nothing Donald Trump, nothing his regime does ever has any hope, any empathy, any love, any kindness at fucking all, even at a funeral. Even at a funeral, that disgusting felon, that sexual predator, turned it into the airing of grievances and a fucking fire hose of lies about tariffs. Had nothing to do unless he was reading a pre-prepared script about the life of a man who died. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Same with fucking Stephen Miller. Same with J.D. Vance. Same with RFK. Who knows what he said? I mean, that was like watching your grandpa leave the group home in his diaper, stand up and give a speech, and then get hustled right back to the group home. Microwave Mel Gibson. It was fucking awesome. But therein is the issue. Community is the issue. Being part of this community is an issue. So we're offering 50% off for everybody till the end of September. You can get unlimited access. Just share this. Become a member for free. I don't care. I don't care. What I care about is that you and I go walk through this together with people like Pete, people like Lev, people like Cohen, people like Waj, people that have the ability to inform and affirm the very fucking fact that you're not crazy. And you're not. We're all going through this together. So let's go through this together. Subscribe if you can. Please share this if you can. Hit those hearts and make sure you hammer that box. Send it to someone that needs to have a conversation or wasn't part of this conversation you think we might be able to benefit from it. But thank you. Barbara, great to see you. Thank you for coming in. Courtney, great to see you again today. Oaths Matter, great to see you again today. There's so many people. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Cindy, nice to see you. Yes. You can get in. You can get in. You're right here. I see you. Everybody's here. And thank you for your time. Means the world to us. Means the world to me. Go subscribe to Pete too. Pete Dominick right now. Substack. He's on it. Go subscribe. He's one of the truth-telling gunslingers that has the ability to make shit make sense. We'll be back at 1 o'clock. Lev, the weekend roundup. Lev Parnas will join me. We'll go over the bullshit from the weekend and what to expect this week. And Lev's got some bombs to drop today. And then see you again at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a busy day. I'll be with you all day, my Substack friends. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday, even though that doesn't exist. We'll see you in a few minutes. Bye.